how tiring that was, but it was very exciting towards the end of it because we got to present our own particular digital marketing strategies, which I did for the network. So today, by the end of the presentation, I want to be able to give you some tips, tools and templates to optimize your digital engagement and the success of your campaigns. So over the 6 days, just also to say, if you'd like to make any comments, please just make them in the comments, or if you've got any questions, just put them in the chat box and maybe we can address them at the end. So the digital marketing course covered objective first marketing. So obviously, whenever you're wanting to set up a campaign, either through social media or an email distribution campaign, you need to look at your objectives. So it covered topics including objective first marketing, SMART objectives. So whenever you're looking at the objectives for your campaign, you obviously need to go through the SMART model. We looked at conversion funnels. So how basically that's how like a customer or the person you're trying to connect with, runs through the process from awareness right through to actually buying your product or buying into your product. And now a lot of the groups that I was with on the course, they were basically selling products. So I had to think of it from a slightly different point of view, because the network's not really selling a product. We're trying to get people to subscribe or to sign up to the network, but also to buy into the things that we're doing, which is inspiring, connecting and resourcing rural women. So the key objectives for any campaign are to basically set your objectives, define your KPIs, look at your design tactics. So that's the tactics you're going to use to reach out to your people. So that's either through a social media campaign or email marketing, or by SEO, so that's search engine optimization, or optimizing your website. There's many different channels that you can go about doing this. With basically what you need to look at is your paid, owned and earned media. So for us, for example, we have paid campaigns that we do through Facebook, because Facebook gives us basically the best engagement. Owned is what you own. So for us, it's our website and our social media platforms. And then there's earned media as well, which is basically through the loyalty and through people sharing. Basically, I just want to take you really today through the digital marketing strategy that I put together, having done basically 6 days worth of digital marketing training. So for the Victorian Rural Women's Network, we were looking at a campaign that was going to optimize our communications and engagement strategy. So first of all, basically what this will show you is the digital marketing strategy that I put together, and it will give you a structure to do your own paid or organic digital marketing campaigns. So first of all, you need to have a think about your why, and you can have a look at Simon Sinek's TED Talk, which talks about the why, because most people sell their things by telling people what they do. They talk about the what, but we need to think about the why. So the Victorian Rural Women's Network is basically a free networking group, which is run through the Victorian Government and Agriculture Victoria. And we exist to connect, inspire and resource Victorian rural women. Now you can do this for your particular areas of business through something called the Gaddy Pitch, which basically is a structure that helps you easily convey the problem that you want to solve in the world. So for example, you think about what you know, the Gaddy Pitch works by basically thinking about, how women living in rural Victoria, disconnected, isolated, need to upskill, etc. Well, so what we do is inspire, resource and empower Victorian rural women. In fact, the Victorian Rural Women's Network delivers regular communications and events, a leadership program, and the program has enabled more than 40 rural women to access funded places on leadership programs. So then people who are coming to the network start to think about the benefits that they get from the network. Some of the key work that we've done to be able to run successful paid social media campaigns is identifying your audience. So we've done quite a bit of work on our stakeholder mapping. So we've looked at both all of the internal stakeholders within government and external stakeholders, and we've mapped them out so that we can do very specific and targeted email campaigns. We've also done some audience segmentation, and at the end of this presentation, I'm actually going to give you some really useful tools and templates that you can use to make your own digital marketing detailed and strategic digital marketing campaigns. So this is just an example of audience segmentation. So we've had a look at what our typical audience person looks like. This is Sarah, she's female, 31, married with 1 child, lives in Benalla. She works for Bendigo Bank, and she also, you drill right down into the types of things that they're interested in, their daily activities, how they use their devices, their social media, etc. You can split it down into challenges, goals, needs, and influences. So that really helps you fully understand your audience before you even start your campaign. For us, this was quite a tricky job because we have a very, very wide audience, which is right across Victoria. So we've actually split ours down even further than that. So we've gone into agricultural women and specifically rural women, and drilled down into those 2 different channels, because when I started on the network, it was mostly revolving around agricultural women. And as a way of growing the network, we needed to look outside of that and also include that audience from the rural women. So I would also really, at this particular moment in time, because of all the challenges that have been happening with drought and obviously coronavirus, it's a really good idea to revisit your personas on and off so that you can have a look at their wants and needs through the lens of challenges that have been happening and that are very topical. So, and for example, what rural women want now, they might not necessarily want in, say, 3 to 6 or 12 months' time. Now, this customer journey consideration conversion chart is really useful because it basically takes you through the journey of the customer, from awareness right through to loyalty and sticking around. So if you're in the awareness part of a campaign, you probably need to be looking at things like online ads, radio, paid content. If people are already aware and you want them to be considering to make an action on a product or to connect with you or to actually buy into your information that you're giving people, you need to be looking at things like paid content, email, websites, optimizing your website, social media, that kind of thing. And then it sort of takes you right through the journey to the loyalty stage. So for example, for the loyalty stage, it might be as simple as putting something like a chatbot on your website so you can have more of a two-way conversation and it's less of a broadcast and more of a meaningful sort of conversation. The loyalty phase is also where you would do things like evaluation and surveys. Now, you can use this business model canvas to help you put together your campaign. So you need to have had thought around your value proposition, which you can do by doing that Gaddy pitch and also having a look at that Simon Sinek Why video, and then having a think about what is the value that you're really offering your audience. So the business model canvas basically helps you segment out your audience, who your partners are. So if you're going to be doing a communications campaign, you know exactly where they're going to be going. You look at your budget and also the channels you're going to be using. So for example, the Victorian Rural Women's Network has a website, Facebook and Twitter pages. We also do email distribution campaigns for direct messaging. We also do quarterly newsletters and an annual magazine. For this particular marketing objective, I wanted to increase new traffic to the website by 15% between a particular period. And it's really important when you set your marketing objective to have it really specific. So, you know, you need to have a time frame as well. I looked at many different ways of engaging our audience. So I decided on 3 different tactics. One was a paid social campaign. 2 was improving our SEO or search engine optimization. And the 3rd is website optimization. So part of the digital marketing course took us through ways that you can make your website look really flash and very attractive to people. There's lots of obviously different ways that you can do that, but some of the key things that I took away from the course was that you know, you really need to be making sure that the majority of your important information, such as your subscriber button or your call to actions, needs to go in the top third of your website. And also when you are designing a website, you really need to be thinking about mobile first. So the tactics, the Facebook ad campaign, this course taught us how to do A/B testing, which is basically where you set up a couple of different social media tiles and you give them to different audiences, and you basically, you find out, you know, which tile is working best for you by looking at your analytics. So basically with this particular campaign, I wanted to be, the must-haves that I needed to have was a landing page so that I can measure and track the results of my campaign. The fact that everything I'm doing is mobile first, so that you know, all my images are measured correctly on the different platforms, that you've got enticing captions, captivating imagery, and a clear call to action. For KPIs, for measuring, you can look at things like engagement rate, cost per click, cost per acquisition, and conversion rates. And for tracking, you can use things like Facebook Insights and Google Analytics, which I know Gavin's done quite a bit on with us. For search engine optimization, there's different tools and templates that you can use to help you improve your search engine optimization. That's basically making sure that your website's at the top of the Google search, and your stories, your blog stories are at the top there as well. So must-haves for search engine optimization are having a landing page, captivating imagery, clear call to action, and using long tail keywords. Now that's something that you can do using things called Campaign Builder and various templates. You can also embed codes into your social media tiles, so that you know exactly where your audience is coming from. You can actually trace back, you know, for example, that someone may have come from the AgVic website or you know, National Centre for Farmer Health website or something like that. KPIs, engagement rate, conversion rates, bounce rates, you can look at things like that, impressions. And for tracking and reporting, you can use things like Campaign Builder, Facebook Ad Manager, Google Trends, Facebook Insights, and Google Analytics. For my third tactic to reach my marketing goal, I wanted to make sure that the website was completely optimized, which of course Gavin and Dennis help us with extensively. But to have a fully optimized website, you obviously need to have attractive, relevant imagery, regularly updated content, good web speeds, and simple, intuitive navigation. And like I said before, just making sure that everything's in that top third that you want people to see immediately. The must-haves for our page were a landing page, thinking about things from a mobile first point of view, because that's where people basically tend to come from, a lot of our traffic. Meta descriptions, making sure they're all in there, consistency and minimalism, enticing subject lines and content, clear calls to actions, pop-ups, things like that. That makes your site more engaging and also keeps it up to date, for example, with things like coronavirus updates. KPIs, you're looking at things like reach, open rates, click-through rates, bounce rates, page sessions, and duration of session. And you can get most of this information through Google Analytics. But there's also quite a few really cool tools that will help you scan your website, SEO site checkup. We were also given a really useful budget sheet, which I will distribute if anybody wants it, which helps you look at the, your return on your investment with your Google Ads or whatever campaigns you decide to do. So for the Victorian Women's Network, having done all this work in the course and also done this, this strategy for the network, the things I'm thinking about that we need to do next are more A/B testing. It's not something we've really done much of, any of really. An overhaul of our email marketing, improved targeting in campaigns, and use of imagery, better use of imagery to portray smart, innovative women, because in the ag space we're often seeing men, and we really find that the female presence there is really very engaging to our audience. For example, our recent video, we had in space of about 4 days, we had about 4,000 views. But since doing a paid campaign and the fact that there's a woman in it, it's gone up to like 14,000 in about 5 days, 14,000 views. So with our owned media, I want to do more videos because they're obviously working really well for us, and also to try and embed that policy through Agriculture Victoria, where we're presenting more women, just to make sure that gender balance is there. We'd like to use Instagram over Twitter. We've realized that Twitter's really not engaging people too much. Real women don't seem to be using it. We feel that they'll be using Instagram more because they tend to be out there sometimes even taking photos. They're quite creative women in our network. And women are generally more visually motivated. We also want to encourage more of a younger audience. I'm wanting to work closer with, obviously, Young Farmer Business Network to look at our synergies and alignments there and see if there's more we can do together, and use LinkedIn for our leadership program launch, which we didn't really utilize much last time. For our earned media, I want to do better SEO, more email distribution campaigns. Subscriber testimonials are really useful and encourage other people. Stakeholder sharing stories, blog posts, and targeting more specifically to audiences. So that's about it for the digital marketing course itself. If you've got any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box and I'll try and get back to you. I'm really sorry about the issues that we had with our technology this morning. I have to admit, I'm not the most technology focused person, but I hope you enjoyed my insights into the digital course that I did. The other thing I wanted to mention to you is that the course itself was quite expensive, and I looked into trying to get some support because I really want to do this particular course. It's really jam-packed full of value. So I was able to halve the cost of the course through a federal support package, which was really amazing. So if anyone wants to talk to me more about that, I can let you know where to go to get that support. So pretty much it from me. I don't know if maybe Gavin might want to take over from there.
That's okay. So just pop things in the chat box, anyone that's got there. People are thanking you, Becky. Well, she can't hear me, can she? So I've just asked Becky how much the course was. If you guys want to ask any questions, feel free to come off mute. Becky's just going to answer the course. Okay, so the course was 2,000. Sarah, she was just reading your question, I think. She's going to deserve a stiff drink or a medal after this, Becky. I'll just check she's seen your question, Sarah. Yes, listening. Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me still, but I just wanted to run through, it's great answering your questions. Great, you can hear me. Okay, so what I wanted to go through, which is really quite inspirational. First of all, I just wanted to say doing this kind of work can really often feel like you're pushing water uphill. It can be very difficult to start building something from nothing, which is pretty much what we had to do with the network. But generally our spend has been sort of between as little as like, $50 through to about $2,000 per Facebook paid campaign. And we've had really amazing results through it. So for example, overall our country cuppers, which is our annual event, and our leadership program reached 44,390 people. And organically, that had only the year before we started doing these campaigns, reached about 4,000 people. Our Country Cuppers event itself, with the paid campaign, reached 19,900 people. Overall, since the website's been set up, we've had more than 57,000 views. And obviously that's sort of come with working with Gavin and Dennis on optimizing it for our audience. And we have around 20,000 users on our website. It really is a matter of just keeping your cool, plugging along, doing not the same things over and over, but just keep doing the things you're doing, and eventually your results really pick up. But thanks everyone. I'm sorry that this has been a little bit of a delay this morning, but I really appreciate you coming along, and it's been really great to share my learnings. I'm happy to talk to anyone also afterwards on email. Okay,
we just thank Becky. Apologies everyone for the technical glitches. We got the workaround, which is great, and I think Becky's presentation was really interesting and very worthwhile, so we shall share that. Thank you all. We shall catch up with you all later.